The only way to keep from returning to active addiction is not to take that first drug. If you are like us, you know that 1 is too many and 1,000 never enough. We put great emphasis on this, for we know that when we use drugs in any form or substitute one for another, we release our addiction all over again.
You need to see this. It's something that'll change the world and human life as we know it.
He knows. He's seen the light.
When Monty talks, it's painful.
Monty, you have been so instrumental in kind of pointing me in the right direction.
It was about looking at your character defects in spirituality.
It's the integration of clinical practices with the 12 steps.
It's an absolute pleasure. He certainly knows a lot of people. He's got a lot of energy, and sometimes when you don't have so much energy, he picks you up and carries you.
And the Monty man there certainly helps.
This is one of the places that is about the business of the solution.
The views expressed on this special broadcast of the Take 12 radio show do not necessarily reflect those of KHLT Recovery Broadcasting or its affiliates. KHLT is not affiliated with any particular 12-step fellowship.
Now here's that guy who's getting less popular minute by minute. Your host, the Multi-Man.
That's right. Welcome aboard to another fine episode of the Take 12 Recovery Radio Show. Roger McDermott is on the phone, driving through the beautiful, warm state of Arizona. That's where you're at, right, Roger?
Yes, I'm almost to Tucson.
Almost to Tucson. Denver is in studio.
Howdy.
There he is right there for those of you on YouTube. And Derek is way over here. Hi, Derek.
Good morning.
Good morning. Because Derek's over here, because Denver's over there, and Denver has a bit of a cold. It's not COVID, don't worry.
It's not COVID,
right?
It's a cold.
So we've got him 2 chairs apart, just in case.
Because nobody likes a cold.
That's right. That's right. All right. Well, the topic this week, no cannabis for the rest of us. And just a point of information, Pastor Kelly Graham sent me a text this morning. Check this out. Oregon is ranked number 2 worst in the nation out of all states, number 2, the worst for addiction, and last place for access to treatment. Number 2 for addiction, last place for treatment. Guess what state is ranking number 1 for active addiction?
California.
Washington.
Washington, D.C.
Oh, wow.
The whole area, the Washington, D.C. area.
Oh, I was going with our West Coast.
Yeah, no, in the United States. The 2020 National Survey on Drug Use, 18.22% of people 12 years of age and older are addicted. 18.8% need treatment but can't get it for one reason or another. We are number 1 in meth addiction. We are number 2 in marijuana addiction, 7 in cocaine, and 11 in heroin.
Wow.
And opiates.
That's Oregon?
That's Oregon.
Meth.
Yeah, number 1 in meth.
Yeah, boy.
Number 2 in pot.
Explain.
So meth and marijuana leading the charge.
Wow.
And you don't think we have a cannabis problem? Yeah. What can I say? So we're going to be talking about no cannabis for the rest of us. Basically what that is the importance of complete abstinence from all drugs in order to recover.
Right.
And we're going to be talking about that. But as is typical, we've got Cecil.
Stop right there, everybody, because you know what time it is.
Yep.
It's time for this. Complaining is all he does. He whines just because. No reason, rhyme, no sense. His griping takes precedence over everything.
Everything.
That's right. It's that time again for the Monty Man's Weekly Whine.
morning.
Okay.
That's right. It's that time of the show where I get to complain about something I'm totally powerless over. Dropping stuff. Dropping stuff.
Picking it up, you mean?
We got a weird background sound on Roger's end. I mean, it is just like a fan or something. That's because he's driving. Dropping stuff. Well, I got a couple here, but dropping stuff. I am sick and tired of dropping stuff. I got one of those little grabber thingies, you know, with the handle on it so you don't have to bend over to pick stuff up. I need to have one of those in every room in my house and every room out at the residential treatment program that we work at. Do you drop stuff, Denver?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you able to pick it up?
And nowadays, I decide, is it worth bending over and picking up? Or
just leave it there.
Do I move on? I'll get it next time through.
I just leave it, man.
Yeah. Some of it.
I get like I knock over the shampoo thing in the shower. I just leave it.
I'll be back to get it.
Somebody else pick it up. Man, there's stuff all over my office on the floor. You know how many pens I've kicked underneath the desk?
Right.
You know, I just, so I'm powerless over it. You know, my back's out. My back is shot. I can't get that. I can't get that stuff. Roger, you have a hard time picking stuff up?
Not so much, but I don't always want to. But I'm sort of, yeah. I kind of don't like leaving things when I drop them. So
I don't either.
Yeah.
That's why I kick them under something.
You know, I work as a janitor at the county there, so I have a little extendable magnet because apparently we're not the only ones that don't like to pick things up, and paper clips seems to be very popular. Nobody slows down to pick up a paper clip.
Oh.
So I spend a lot of my time used to bending over and getting paper clips.
Right.
Nah, I learned right away my back ain't going to put up with that. So I just bought one of them extendable magnets.
Okay.
Problem solved.
Well, and you know what? One of the side effects of diabetes, of course, is you get numbness in your fingers. So I don't feel things as well.
Right.
And so I drop things. You got dropsy yet, Derek?
I haven't had dropsy lately. I think about when I worked for the city of Sweet Home and Parks and Rec, we would have to pick up cigarette butts, and being a non-smoker just disgusts me. Yeah. Anyway, but I don't mind picking up your pens and paper clips at the center, Monty.
I know, and I do it to these guys all the time. Hey, could you grab that for me? You know, it's my keys or whatever. The other thing that I need to whine about today is the seals. The seals on certain things, you know, the like peanut butter or Tylenol or Advil. Yes. They got the little half paper, half aluminum seal on there. They used to have little tabs on the side where you could pull the seal off.
Yeah.
Where did that go? Now you got to stab it with a buck knife or something to get that stupid thing open.
Yeah.
Right? I'm telling you, it's ruining my day.
I lost a little religion the other day trying to get the cotton out of a jar of pills.
You lost your religion trying to get the cotton out of
I'm not kidding.
Well, thank goodness. What a gift.
I'm not kidding. The mouth on the jar was half the size of the jar itself.
Yeah.
And they put a wad of cotton in there bigger than the jar total.
Right. Yeah.
Man, oh man. I had to get up and get a pair of tweezers.
Yeah.
Which is an inconvenience.
Isn't it wonderful that we have these problems of convenience to whine about, and that's pretty much all we have to whine about
here in America?
Roger,
it's a good day when that's all we have to complain about.
I was just going to say that. These are really quality problems we're talking about here. It's not what we used to drop and be concerned about back in the day.
No.
Right.
Like if you drop something in the carpet, now what do we do?
I know, right? Carpet farmer. There was at the Sweet Home AA meeting, Derek, there used to be a broken shoelace hanging over the doorway. Right. And that was there because my sponsor would remind me, you know, we are the type of people that a broken shoelace will cause us to go back out and drink.
Right.
You know, if we're not careful. Yeah. So, so if you've got something that you're powerless over, you would like to whine about, send us an email. Get it off your chest.
Drop it to us.
Take 12radio at Comcast.net. That's using the number 12. You certainly are welcome to do that. All right. We're going to listen to this real quick, and then we're going to come back and talk about the topic, no cannabis for the rest of us. Don't go away.
This is Chris Schroeder. You are listening to Take12Radio.com. Recovery talk and positive music.
Hey, greetings, recovery family. It's me, the Monty Man. Because of the generous folks at Podomatic, Take 12 Recovery Radio is now able to reach literally thousands of people seeking recovery from drug and alcohol addiction. Addiction is the #1 health crisis in our world today, and recovery from active addiction gets the least amount of attention due to stigma. Now, with the help of Podomatic, we are able to break that stigma and focus on the solution that is recovery more effectively than ever before. So, from all of us here at KHLT and the Take 12 Recovery Radio shows, we give a hearty thank you to the staff at Podomatic. To subscribe free to our podcast, visit us at www.take12recoveryradio.podomatic.com. That's take, the number 12, recoveryradio.podomatic.com. Thank you, Podomatic, and God bless you. To join the world's largest directory of independent podcasters, visit www.podomatic.com.
Roll another blunt. I was gonna clean my room until I got high.
And I said, no, I don't smoke it no more. I'm tired of waking up on the floor. No, thank you, please. It only makes me sneeze. And it makes it hard to find the door. You see, I can't smoke that stuff because when I use a drug in any form, I'm in trouble. And I can't, in fact, I don't even, what? I can't remember. Where? What?
Okay, welcome back to the show. Thank you, Cecil. The topic this week, no cannabis for the rest of us. Yeah, so Denver, you weren't really a pothead, right?
No.
You were boozy-loozy.
I was a boozer.
Yeah. Derek, what about you? Was cannabis your thing at all, or was it go-go chemicals and alcohol?
No, primarily alcohol. I was never really a pot smoker.
Yeah. Yeah.
Never really enjoyed marijuana.
Roger, what about you? Was pot your thing at all?
Smoked a lot of pot and a lot of hash back in the day in college.
Yeah, baby.
Yes, indeedy, along with my alcohol.
Yeah. Well, I never liked it much because I ended up sitting in a corner like a piece of lettuce, and I had a very low tolerance to it. So I'd take a couple hits off a bong, and my body was down for the day.
It made me stoned.
Yeah, you were just like
stoned.
I was gonna make my bed, and then I got high, right? Yeah.
I don't like it.
I was gonna go to work, and then I got high. Yeah, I didn't like it either. I was go chemical guy. I had things to do, man. But Roger, when you were stoned, were you motivated?
So I actually believed there was a time in my life where I thought I could do everything better if I was loaded. Right. So I thought I could write better term papers. I thought I would be a better driver. I thought it enhanced my music listening experience, and on and on and on. It was a complete fiasco.
Yeah. I don't know. It just wasn't my deal. Although all my stoner friends, they appreciated me because I was a cheap date. Just pass it once past Monty, and that's all he needs. But the reason that I wanted to talk about this, and this isn't the first time we've brought up marijuana use on this show. It's been a long time, but one of the reasons is in the last several years there's been this influx of Well, some are coining the phrase California recovery. Have you heard that term, Roger?
No, California recovery?
Yeah, California recovery. That's where you pick and choose what you want to. One of the definitions is that you pick which drug you want to get clean off of, but you still continue to use the other one. Which we would refer to in the old days as half measures, right? At least in AA, where you're not really surrendering all of it. You're just, this is about alcohol. This is AA. It's about alcohol. We don't talk about drugs. Well, alcohol is a drug, so therefore you do talk about it, so you don't know what you're talking about. But nevertheless, it's a symptom. Alcohol is a symptom of a deeper issue, just like all the other mind-altering chemicals. Are the abuse of them are symptoms, not really what's going on. But there is this influx of people, saying, this is what I want to get. I don't want to do meth anymore. I don't want to do crack anymore. But I'm not going to give up the cannabis. I'm going to keep using the cannabis. We have people out at the Adult and Teen Challenge Center that have that mindset.
Correct.
Especially when they're new. Well, I'm probably not going to give up smoking weed. I just don't want to be homeless anymore.
Right.
I just don't want to, I just don't want to use the needle anymore, but I'm probably going to continue to smoke pot. I even know born-again Christians that are justifying the use of cannabis. Now, I want to make it very clear. I am not talking about, prescribed by a legitimate doctor that knows what they're doing as far as certain kinds of ailments goes. I'm not going to go down that road today. That's not what I'm referring to. I'm not referring to CBD that has no THC. I'm not going down that road. I'm talking about the abuse of marijuana for the purpose of changing the way you feel, because let's face it, you just want to get stoned.
Correct.
You want your right to be high. You want your right to be able to walk down the street with only half a brain, if that, because that's your right, and now it's legal, and you're calling yourself sober because you're not drinking anymore.
Right.
That kind of thing. So I want to look at the pamphlet, the information pamphlet from the World Service Office of Narcotics Anonymous. This is entitled "Who, What, How, and Why." I'll just read a portion of it. It says, "Who is an addict?" is the question. Most of us do not have to think twice about this question. We know our whole life and thinking was centered in drugs in one form or another. The getting and using and finding ways and means to get more. We live to use and use to live. Very simply, an addict is a man or woman whose life is controlled by drugs. We are people in the grip of a continuing and progressive illness whose ends are always the same: jails, institutions, and death. The only way to keep from returning to active addiction is not to take that first drug. If you are like us, you know that one is too many and 1,000 never enough. We put great emphasis on this, for we know that when we use drugs in any form or substitute one for another, we release our addiction all over again. Thinking of alcohol as different from other drugs has caused a great many addicts to relapse. Before we came to NA, many of us viewed alcohol separately, but we cannot afford to be confused about this. Alcohol is a drug. We are people with the disease of addiction who must abstain from all drugs in order to recover. Now, some are going to get real snipey about this and say, oh, it says all drugs. So that means no sugar, no caffeine, no tobacco, right? Okay, pull the needle out of your head. That's not what we're talking about. Right. You know it and I know it. So quit trying to play the justification game there. That's not what NA's talking about here. They are talking about mind-altering substances that you and I have gotten in trouble behind. And according to the World Service Office of Narcotics Anonymous, we must abstain from all drugs in order to recover. And I'm telling you, if you are messing around and even if you're abusing Tylenol PM, if you're abusing it, you are in deep weeds. If you are using marijuana and you're trying to quit everything else, I got news for you. You're in trouble. And I'm sorry, but I just do not buy this California recovery stuff or some of this other stuff, this rational recovery stuff. You're either clean or you're not clean. Derek, comment.
I agree with you 100%. So not having a desire to smoke marijuana, my gateway drug was alcohol. And for years, under the deception, believing because I was no longer using methamphetamines, alcohol was just okay. Well, for me, that had always led to a full-blown relapse with methamphetamines. And I think I've heard over the years, in terms of recovery and the circles of influence and people that I've hung out with, the same works with marijuana. I think at the end of the day, evaluating why one's using the marijuana is the real issue at hand, right? I mean, you said it best. If it's just a cover-up because there's trauma that hasn't been dealt with, then that's an issue. Or it could be just simply that you still enjoy getting high. And if that's the scenario, you're in deep weeds. Your recovery has been compromised. Your recovery is not only compromised, you're not working towards being recovered. So
that is
not an issue.
That's not sobriety. That's not recovery. Roger.
Right.
Yes, I 100% agree. I hearken back to what Dr. Silkworth described in the doctor's opinion. And basically, we drink, we use because we like the effect it causes. And the chemical reaction that takes place in the addictive brain is not, it's a problem. And so anything that alters our reality is the definition of on the road to addiction. And it changes our perception, and therefore we can't decipher the truth from the false. So, no, none of them are good for us. You can't select one over the other. They all have problems that they cause. So, yeah, absolutely, 100%. No drugs, no alcohol.
So my thing is, now there's people that are listening who says, yeah, but I don't want to quit marijuana, so really it doesn't apply to me. I just want to quit drinking. Okay, that's fine. You're free to do that. Marijuana in most states is legal now. Just because it's legal doesn't mean it's right. Just because it's legal doesn't mean it's moral, but it is legal. So you go ahead and do that, but please do not insult the rest of us and call yourself sober, because you are not sober. Denver, what do you think?
I think Derek said something that one thing leads to another, and I know this from my past experience. I've always chose alcohol, but after one drink of alcohol, I can start making really bad decisions. And before you know it, I've got a snoot full of meth, or I'm just doing bad decisions, drinking and driving, or whatever it is. Yeah. But it starts with one that leads to another.
Yeah. Yeah. And in case you'd like to argue the point of the health benefits of cannabis versus the risks, let me just share some facts with you, listeners, those of you who are in your justification mode. Coming from the National Institute on Drug Abuse. And by the way, they're not out to get you. They're not out to ruin your day or take your high away from you or any of that stuff, right? These are just people that are paid professionals. Heck, some of these guys smoke pot themselves. There's not a conspiracy. I remember in high school we always say, "Oh, it's a conspiracy. They're trying to scare you." You know. No, they're not. They could care less. They're doing the investigation. They're showing you the facts so then you can make, hopefully, a mature decision. But if you're stoned, forget about that. There ain't no mature decision out there. But let me just share this with you. A rise in marijuana's THC levels. We know that. Yeah. Oh my gosh. The amount of THC in marijuana has been increasingly steady over the past few decades. For a person who's new to marijuana use, this may mean exposure to higher THC levels with a greater chance of a harmful reaction. Higher THC levels may explain the rise in emergency room visits involving marijuana use. Well, nobody's ever gone to the hospital because of marijuana. Think again.
Right.
Talk to these ER doctors because you don't know what you're talking about. That is absolutely not true. The popularity of edibles also increases the chance of harmful reactions. Edibles take longer to digest and produce a high. Therefore, people may consume more to feel the effects faster, leading to dangerous results. I don't know about you, but every addict I know, if it isn't working right away, we take more of it.
Yep.
That's just the nature of active addiction. Higher THC levels may also mean a greater risk for addiction if people are regularly exposing themselves to high doses. So marijuana use may have a wide range of effects, both physical and mental. Here's one: breathing problems. Marijuana smoke irritates the lungs, and people who smoke marijuana frequently can have the same breathing problems as those who smoke tobacco. These problems include daily cough and phlegm, more frequent lung illnesses, and a higher risk of lung infections. Increased heart rate. Well, people say, well, marijuana slows me down. Well, actually, it increases your heart rate. Marijuana raises heart rate up to 3 hours, 4 up to 3 hours after smoking it. This effect may increase the chance of heart attack. Older people and those with heart problems, they're going to be at higher risk. Problems with child development. One study found that about 20% of pregnant women 24 years old and younger screened positive for marijuana. Are you kidding me?
Wow.
Why should we be surprised? Look how many pregnant women continue to smoke cigarettes. Additionally, in one study, dispensaries, non-medical personnel at marijuana dispensaries were recommending marijuana to pregnant women for nausea.
Wow.
These are not doctors.
Right.
These are idiots.
Right.
Well, I'm going to get the email on this show. Medical experts highly warn against this. This concerns medical experts because marijuana use during pregnancy is linked to lower birth weight and increased risk of both brain and behavioral problems in the baby. Children exposed to marijuana in the womb have an increased risk of problems with attention, memory, and problem solving compared to unexposed children. Some research also suggests that moderate amounts of THC are excreted into the breast milk of nursing mothers. With regular use, THC can reach amounts in breast milk that could affect the baby's developing brain. Other recent research suggests an increased risk of preterm births. Intense nausea and vomiting is also associated with regular long-term marijuana use and can lead people to develop cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome. This causes users to experience regular cycles of severe nausea, vomiting, and dehydration, sometimes requiring emergency medical attention. It causes lower life satisfaction, a poor mental health, poor physical health, and more relationship problems. People also report less academic and career success. For example, marijuana use is linked to a higher likelihood of dropping out of school. It's also linked to more job absences, accidents, and injuries on the job. Why do you want to put this stuff in your body? What are you thinking? I'm hot about this. And the reason I am is I'm seeing so many people that claim to be in recovery, and yet they claim they're clean and sober while using marijuana. And you're not, folks. Do what you want to do if that's what you think you got to do. But please don't represent yourself as clean and sober. You are not clean and sober. Yeah. So, I don't know, man. I think we have to ask ourselves, why do I want to change the way I feel that drastically? What is going on with me that I want to change the way I feel to the point where I'm just not thinking clear? What is it about life that I can't handle that I got to be numb? Derek, right?
Right. I'm with you here, Monty. I mean, when when growing up in the community of Sweet Home, the community in and of itself voted on recreational marijuana being made available to the community. I'm 50. I'd never thought I'd see the day where you could walk into a brick and mortar shop and buy marijuana legally. And it breaks my heart, not only for the individual in recovery that just think that that's okay, but what about our youth? What about the up and next coming generation? I mean, if you walk through the parks in downtown, you've got high school students just hanging out, smoking marijuana and getting high. And, you know, I'm always reminded, like you've already verbalized, just because culture thinks it's okay and society has embraced something does not mean it's good, right, God-fearing, or anything that we should participate in. And it is a problem. I mean, really, I think at the heart of the issue, it's a pretty great sign. And, you know, what everyone wants to believe about this, where we're at and the days that are upon us in terms of just being apostate, moral deficiency, the deception that the multitudes are under. And to think that after having my own experience with marijuana, being in that kind of mindset is okay is a form of deception that's just it's unacceptable. If your desire is to be sober and to live a life that can influence others in their own recovery in a right way. Those are my thoughts.
Yeah, really well said. Roger, are we on the road to normalizing drug addiction?
Yes, I think absolutely. Like you said, Monty, the question becomes, why do you smoke? Why do you smoke marijuana? What is it about yourself that you're trying to alter and change? What is it you don't like about life and the way you think and feel? It's just the fact that it's been legalized. What does that have to do with anything? Alcohol is legal too. So, you know, it's like diabetes in this country is completely out of control. It's one of the largest health issues going. And you can buy candy and sugar anywhere you go. Does that make it good and healthy? No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
So those conversations to me are ironic. It's like you get somebody to really sit down and try and sort out or write out the reasons why they smoke or they drink. It's like you can't make sense of it. You cannot.
Why do you think there's so many people in the church today that are actually abusing alcohol and smoking marijuana, claiming to have a spiritual, healthy connection with Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior? What's up with that one?
Well, I think there's a lot of people who aren't even alcohol abusers. I can't speak to smoking marijuana, but there are people that would have a glass of wine with dinner. It has no effect on their life whatsoever, and they're not an alcohol abuser. They're not an alcoholic. I don't think that's what we're talking about.
No, that's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, I can't answer that question because you can't make sense of it to me. There is no reasonable. I won't even throw out the word logical. There's no reasonable explanation for any of that.
Yeah, it's and I've seen posts. There's a church here in town that on occasion will post pictures of a Bible study they have, and there's 4 people sitting around a table and there's 6 bottles of wine. That's not having wine with dinner. That's alcohol abuse. Yeah. And they're sitting there.
I totally agree.
And I'm like, what are you doing? In the NA pamphlet, it says thinking of alcohol as different from other drugs has caused a great many addicts to relapse. Maybe we need to put thinking of marijuana as different from other drugs has caused a great many addicts to relapse.
Look, first of all, the motivation behind getting it legal is very simple. It's a multi-billion.
There you go.
Amen. That's right.
Dollar business. It has nothing to do with health,
right,
serenity, or anything else. It has to do with greed and money.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. It's a huge market. You know, I remember back in my partying days, like I said, I wasn't a big pot consumer, but I remember sitting around the table and people talking about, even the potheads were talking about, well, we don't want the government getting a hold of this stuff because the quality will go down, the price will go up. Mm-hmm. People think that the government isn't part of it now, but aren't they?
Absolutely.
Yeah, maybe they came in the back door. I wonder, especially with today's administration, I wonder how many people are even sober amongst the leaders in our country today. I mean, both conservative as well as liberal. I watch some of these people talk, and even the governor of Oregon, and I'm like, really, lady? You're not even sober. You're standing behind a microphone. You're weaving back and forth. You're slurring your words. I don't know what you're on. If it maybe you're over medicated with some medication, that's a legitimate thing that you're taking. But I'm concerned, brother. And the more we justify, changing the way we feel instead of dealing with life on life's terms, the more we become imprisoned by what we think is our freedoms. I saw a cartoon the other day on social media. It had a picture of a guy in a cage, and he was reaching out for a loaf of bread. And the caption on it, did you see that, Denver? Mm. The caption on it was something like, give them their basic needs, and they'll forget that they've lost their freedoms.
There was a key and a loaf of bread.
A key and a loaf of bread.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Just keep them high, and they'll forget. Just feed them, make them dependent on you for whatever, and they will not even realize that they're behind bars. And when it comes to drug addiction, and that's the other thing about this thing, folks, listen, we're talking about COVID constantly. I mean, how many years have we beat that dead horse into the ground? Mm-hmm. And nobody's talking about the number one health crisis in our world, and that's drug addiction.
Right.
Number one, not COVID.
Yeah.
And I don't know that this administration anyway, has done one thing towards helping get people. Look at state of Oregon, the one state out of the union, people can't get into treatment. Why is that? That's unexcusable. Is it cost? Is it insurance? I know of a 1-year residential program that has beds available. Why aren't they full?
Right.
And there's a no barriers policy that where they say we're not going to let costs be a factor here. So why aren't those beds full? Is it true that people can't get into treatment, or is that a lie? I don't know.
It's a lie.
And I know of a couple of treatment centers, secular treatment centers, that do a very good job. They're 90-day treatment centers, and they've got beds available, and they have no barrier policies. Why aren't those beds full? So I don't know, man. I was going to go to a meeting, and then I got high. Ranting and raving on this episode of the Take 12 Recovery Radio Show. Listen, Dr. Alan Berger was supposed to be with us today, but he's having some minor health issues, and he apologizes. He will be with us on Monday, March 7th, to discuss his book, Essential Insights for Emotional Sobriety, Getting Your Recovery Unstuck. Yeah. It's his brand new book. I'm excited about it, and I think that's what we're talking about here, is a lack of emotional sobriety. People don't know how to become emotionally sober. They know how to stop drinking, but that's it. And if putting the plug in the jug is the end of your recovery journey, that plug's probably going to pop out at one of these days, and you're going to be drinking again. But so I'm excited about that show. I don't know, Roger. Let me ask you, if I compromise my state of recovered with a mind-altering substance, and let's talk about the things that people like to throw in our face. Let's talk about caffeine for a minute. If I'm overindulging in caffeine, I mean, I used to love energy drinks. It's been a couple years now. I quit drinking them things. I had a conviction about it. I don't think they're healthy. I think I was drinking for the effect, to be honest with you. I think we drink too much caffeine in this country. I've got a great brand new espresso machine, but I've limited myself to 1 large cup in the morning, right? Which is equivalent to about 4 shots of espresso. But that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
The rest.
Listen, Monty, my motto for years was, if it's worth doing, it's worth overdoing.
Oh, amen.
If it's worth doing, it's worth overdoing, and that goes into all aspects of life until we sit down and have that realization that it's not good for us. So if anything is affecting my overall psyche, my emotional sobriety, my spirituality, my ability to concentrate, have normal conversations, have quality prayer time, if anything is affecting any of those, I don't know how one defines that as healthy.
Right. Yeah. If it's how'd you say that, Roger? If it's worth, say it again.
If it's worth doing, it's worth overdoing. Monty, come on.
You like that? You like that?
Oh, it's 100% my motto.
Yeah. More's better.
Well, isn't that how we live? I mean, we're gluttons for punishment, but we're gluttons for everything.
Yeah.
So
if a little's good, a lot's a lot better.
There's a little hamburger place down the road here called Hasty Freeze. And they had these huge bags of the French fries that have the little, what do you call those? Little
crosscut?
Not crosscut, but they're not straight either. They're kind of like an accordion, French fry.
Like waffle fries.
Yeah, kind of. But anyway, they were delicious. And they came in a big bag, and the oil was seeping through the bag. It was great, right?
Perfect.
Well, they've shrunk their bag. It's still too many. But I was complaining because the bag got smaller. But it's still too many. And so Marcia and I decided that we were going to split the bag. But it's taken, 30 years to come to the decision to go ahead and split the bag? You know what I mean? It's like more is better always.
Yeah.
When can we get to less is better? I don't know if we're cut out that way. What's our illness? It's defined as a disease of more, and there's never enough. Right. So
it's not just alcohol. It spills into every aspect of my life.
It's like I go to Applebee's and I'm like, I don't like what is the steak that's got a lot of marble in it? Yeah. Well, anyway, they have like a 9-ounce ribeye. I don't like that. They have a 9-ounce ribeye, but do you think they have a filet mignon that's a 9-ounce? No, only 6-ounce. And I'm like, are you kidding me? That's got to go on the weekly wine next week. I want my 9-ounce filet mignon. And then I get it, and I'm like, oh, that's too much. Now I'm complaining because it's too much. We're never happy. So then I get high, right? That's what it seems like. Nobody can deal with life, so they got to stick some marijuana down their lungs. Bunch of potheads.
I've learned to live with okay is okay.
Okay is okay.
Yeah.
Denver,
and I also have come to learn that if you don't give your person, the ability to be uncomfortable, you got to give yourself permission to be uncomfortable. If I'm not uncomfortable, then I'm not working on character defects, or I'm not working on anything.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good point.
You're right. I look forward to the hate mail this week. I really do. Bring it on. Our email address is take12radio. That's TAKE, the number 12, radio@comcast.net. Send it my way. And, if we get enough of it, we'll read them on the air. We'll give you. Let's bring them on air. Yeah, let's bring him on air. If you think I'm a judgmental jerk, you can call me that. That's fine. I've been called worse. Any closing thoughts, Denver?
One thing leads to another for me, and there's a good chance it probably would you too. So make that choice.
Yeah, I hear you. Derek, closing thoughts.
It seems just in a different sense of light here. If the state of Oregon is debauched as your statistics promote, which probably is true factually, the real, like you said, pandemic is addiction, and it's not going away. But there's going to always be a percentage of people that are going to want to help, right?
Right.
And so Proverbs 24:17 says, as Christians, we should rescue those that are being led away to death, hold back those that are staggering towards the slaughter. And so I say that to say this. Thank God that we're sober, and there's still a whole lot more work needs to be done. And the Lord will provide opportunity for those who are actually wholeheartedly wanting to be free, and we can point them to Jesus and to places like Adult and Teen Challenge, Celebrate Recovery. Thank God for ministries and platforms and programs like your radio show, Monty. There is hope for the people that want to get sober and to be unhooked from even marijuana. Praise God.
Yeah. Amen. Yep. Amen. Roger, closing thoughts.
Yeah, I'm the best version I've ever been, and it's because I have no mind-altering substances in my body. I'm able to have a relationship with God, relationship with fellow man. I'm a better father, a better employee, a better brother. I'm a better everything than I ever was under anything that altered my reality. And so I'm down on any mind-altering substances.
Amen. Amen. If you are curious and you've tried to get into treatment and you have not been able to, I would encourage you to check out Adult and Teen Challenge. That is a program that has a no barriers policy. They will work with you. You can find one in your area by visiting teenchallengeusa.com and look for the center locator. That's just one of many resources that are out there, faith-based as well as secular. You've got to do your homework. You've got to do your footwork. If you want to get into treatment, I am telling you, there are plenty of places that are available. I don't believe this. I mean, I know the statistic is there, but I really got to wonder about that. You know, how badly do you want to get healthy is what it comes down to. And if you're willing to do the footwork, there are people that will meet you where you are at. So, again, teenchallengeusa.com. Click on the center locator for a center near you. All right. Our closing song, we played it before. It's been a while, but I absolutely love it. It's by Michael Purrington, and it's entitled... well, before I tell you the title of it, let me just tell you about the song, right? It's about a guy who decided that he's going to quit drinking, but he's going to go on the marijuana maintenance program. Is that you, maybe? Maybe. Check it out. It's called High and Dry. Here's Michael.
I'm on the marijuana maintenance program. I haven't had to take a drink so far. Every time I'm tempted to go out and get drunk, I smoke a joint and stay home from the bar. High and dry, what a good boy am I. High and dry, yes I am a sober doper guy. High and dry, my chemicals and me fill my life with pharmaceutical serenity. First thing that I did was find a doctor to prescribe codeine to ease my pain. I told him I'm in recovery, and he gave me some Valium to keep me sane. High and dry, what a good boy am I. High and dry, yes I am a sober doper guy. High and dry, my chemicals and me fill my life with pharmaceutical serenity. I I snort cocaine all day to keep me working. It's 2 a.m. and I am shaking still, but I don't have to pass out on a half a case of brew. I'll just take a few sleeping pills. High and dry, what a good boy am I. High and dry, yes I am a sober doper guy. High and dry, my chemicals in me fill my life with pharmaceutical serenity. Fill my life with pharmaceutical serenity.
And that is the recovery music of Mr. Michael Purrington. Hey, listen, if you would like to tune in to other great recovery recording artists, we have them for you right here at take12radio.com on your internet dial. Just visit our main website at take12radio.com and click on the recovery music banner. All right, until our next broadcast. This is, of course, the Monty Man, along with the rest of the Take 12 Recovery Radio family, and we are wishing God's perfect serenity for you.
This has been a broadcast of KHLT Recovery Broadcasting.
Kitty, 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 kitty.